being here, are you following in anyone's footsteps, or are you sort of like a trailblazer amongst your family and friends?
Both my dad and my mom, they used to camp pretty often and they would ski, but going and doing seasonal work wasn't ever like even an option or an idea, I think, in their heads. I think for them, me doing this for probably like the first 2 or 3 years is like, oh, Kelly's just having like fun summers and then she's gonna go get a real job. And I think this was the first summer where they're like, wow, she's going back. Like, she's doing it now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or no, when you might go downhill.
Oh, go downhill.
We're just gonna get started some gear for you guys. You can go ahead and take a seat on these benches. And I'm gonna go grab some crampons for you all. I work in a small, tiny town in McCarthy, Alaska, in the middle of Wrangell-St. Elias National Park. I do ice climbing days so people can take ice tools and climb up vertical walls of ice out there. And then this year, a multi-day backpacking guide as well. So taking people out into the backcountry and then trekking around out there. Yeah, so this is a glacier moss. People like to call them glacier mice because they're cute, round, and fuzzy. They can move. We're not really sure how. They know how to gather in these colonies like this. But the ones that they have found, frozen in ice, they melted it, gave it some water and sunlight, and it turned out it was 1,000 years old and still was alive after that. Yeah, so they're super, super awesome things that we don't know a lot about. I think the town of McCarthy is super unique. A lot of the people that are living here locally, like year-round, they came here for a specific reason, usually like to get away. And then you also have a bunch of dirtbags like ourselves that are coming here because we want to be in a really amazing place, like seeing cool things and doing cool things. But we're here by virtue of all the tourists that are coming and giving us money to do that. But one of the things that I love about McCarthy, it's such an accepting place. In a way, you are getting like a certain populace that's going to come there to live there. They're all like outdoorsy people. They like to be remote. They're looking for adventure. I don't know, you can have extremely like flamboyant, outgoing, like active, to like the loner who just wants to like be left alone. But everyone like accepts everyone. I really enjoy this kind of work, and I think it provides me a lot of the things that I've been looking for out of a job. You know, I get to be outside, I get to be active, and I get to interact with a lot of different people. Yeah, I think you're in this amazing, beautiful place, and you get to share that experience with other people, and how amazing is that? Yeah, I was pre-med in college originally. My dad had gone to medical school, and that was kind of what I looked up to and thought was a good path for me. Classes were, especially my freshman year, classes were tough. I was doing okay, but I was getting like B- and not sleeping, staying up to like 2 a.m. I had like at least 2 panic attacks that freshman year. And back home, my best friend Chloe from high school, she had heard about this internship working on the Mikuskova glacier in Alaska. About a week before she was gonna leave, I called the office phone of the glacier. They put me on the phone with the boss and the owner. We had like a little mini interview there. And then at the end, he asked me when I could come up, and I told him in a week. Yeah, this car brought me all the way to Alaska the first time and 2 other times after. Good old Susie. Kiss My Ox is a good one. Bad girl lines only. And it goes, boys. I got this bed in the back. It's made of old road signs, but it 8 women and 1 guy intern, so it was just a ladies club, which was awesome. Went ice climbing for the first time, had so much fun, made like such good friendships, and I was like, probably the first time I was like, wow, I feel so authentic and so utterly happy right now. This is great. We are in the ice cave underneath the glacier. The water will come down from the rivers and kind of drill a hole into the side of the ice. And then once that water recedes out, they leave these nice little caverns for us to explore. So all of this is silt that's been pulverized from the glacier and made tiny little, like finer than grains of sand. And when you mix it with water, it's like the perfect consistency for mud mass. So we get glacier mud mass. Yeah. Yeah. You should try it. You get baby soft skin like me. I grew up definitely like daddy's little girl. My dad is still my hero. I love him so much and like really look up to him, and I think a lot of my childhood was to make him happy with me and like proud of me, and I definitely still do that. All right, so just some pictures. This is me in a tent when I was younger, so I started pretty young. Oh, this is me and my mom together, very little, when I was little. Growing up, school was just the #1 thing for me. I was really concerned. I was also self-motivated, but I knew that it was really important to my dad that I got good grades. So I'd always do pretty well. My dad has 3 rules that he lives by. The first one is whatever you do, do it well. Don't be afraid to try new things and take risks. And then the third one is don't be afraid to change directions, which I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially when I was deciding if I wanted to continue to go to med school or not, or go back to Alaska or not, and I thought about that quite a bit. When I make decisions, I do wonder if they would be proud of me for doing it, and I don't know, in some ways I think yearn to hear those words, I'm proud of you, from them, and I care for them so much and value their opinion and am grateful for what they've done for me, and I want them to be proud of me. When I'm here, I do miss my home a lot, and my home for me is mostly my parents. A lot of that comes from my parents getting older, and my dad especially, like his health isn't where it could be. I am afraid that I'm missing out on time with him. I'm here somewhat selfishly, you know, like doing this for myself, and then he's off at home like working really hard to be able to provide he provides for me still in a lot of ways and for the rest of my family. It's like missing him a lot and the fear of not being able to see him again if that like worst case scenario were to ever happen. Seasonal life is very like fast, meaningful and abrupt in most ways, but when I'm here I'm like definitely living day by day, and I think that's like very present living. Yeah, so it's nice just being outside. I think living in a tent, my parents were like, oh my gosh, you live in a tent, but I think it's awesome because we're so close to nature. Like I listen to the birds as I go to sleep at night. Like a moose will walk right by the door. And I think there's a lot of benefit to humans in being in nature. People evolved in nature and like in where we're meant to be. And I think it's really beneficial to like emotional and mental health. So yeah, I really like the hooch life. I'm going on a personal trip in about 3 days. Going with another guide here named Eli. Yeah, I guess it's been nice here. I found a good, like, special connection with another. I'm so bad at this. I found someone that I really like, and I've been really happy in that. Yeah, it's going really well. Yeah.
I lost you.
Should we try again?
Yeah.
Okay. You never also really know what's next. Almost everyone you talk to here, it's like, oh, what are you doing this winter? And they're like, I don't know. I think that's super abnormal for most people. It's like, oh, you don't know what you're doing in 3 months? But I think that's awesome. It really helps you like live in the present a lot of the times. But it can also, like I said, just like be a little exhausting to never really know. Camera's on now.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope.
I am really sad about leaving behind a lot of close friends. And leaving behind McCarthy is sad just because it is such a unique place and it's hard to get here. And I have a lot of, really happy special memories in this place. But I feel sad but ready. I need a little more stability than what seasonal work offers, which is a bummer because I love like doing this type of work and job. And I also honestly don't really have a plan for when it's gonna end, but it's not forever. The transition period is weird. It feels really abrupt. Especially flying, because you just like land and you're in society again, and I usually feel really lonely. I didn't really have a plan for where I was gonna live. I knew I had at least a month before I would like have housing to have to find somewhere to stay. I figured I could like couch surf for a while, live in my car for a while if I had to. But I think once the season gets going and I start skiing and everyone else, all my other friends show up, it'll be a little easier. But I'm ready to start making money. I think about money way more here and finances and like worry about it way more. And I guess, yeah, the work especially, I find less meaningful. You can spin it like, oh, guiding, what does that mean? I like to think of it as like, I'm showing these people a great time that they're gonna remember forever. And the work that I usually do at Alta is like selling people sweatshirts, which doesn't feel as important. I notice myself thinking more about surface level things, especially appearance, and like in the ski shop, it's not what my body can do, it's how friendly I am to people and how much they like me. And that's not to say that I don't feel like authentic here all the time, but I definitely think it like comes in waves. What I know right now is that I'm gonna work in the ski shop this winter and be an EMT. I really, I guess, wanna see if that's what I wanna end up doing career-wise down the road. And so focusing my time on that, I think, will be really important to me. My final's in about 4 weeks from now. And then after that, I have to take the NREMT, which is the national test. And yeah, that's like the real one that I get my licensing from. That will require a lot of studying and it's hard to pass. You never have to know what's next, and it's okay to just be where you are and enjoy that moment and enjoy that time. That is different than being lost. Like, you can be somewhere and not know what's next, but not feel lost. Just know that that's right where you need to be at that time. I definitely saw how hard my dad works, and he would leave the house at 6 a.m. and not come home till 8 or 9 p.m. I realized that for myself, it's not the kind of lifestyle that I want. If 70% of my life is being spent at work, around people that I don't like, doing something that I don't like, then I just don't see the value or the meaning or any fulfillment in that. doing something that you're happy with in your professional life is a great thing and shouldn't be something that people look down upon. And Tyler, I'm gonna go skiing in like 15 minutes. Good. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
That's so good! Oh my god. The NREMT took it online because you can take it online proctored exam, and accidentally dropped my laptop from my bed to the floor and it broke. And I like couldn't get a hold of anyone to help me, and yeah, I was upset. The path that I was going down was definitely more inside an office all day long, like head down, focus on my career, trying to do things that I liked when I could, but it would have been like a big grind. But my life now is more so of what is making me happiest and what is most fulfilling to me. The most important thing to life for myself is be happy and be more of a positive presence in the world than a negative one. I don't know if there's something after this life, and I think you can look at that in a couple ways. It can be like everything's meaningless, nothing matters, like why should I care? But I actually think quite the opposite, that like if nothing matters, go out and live it to the fullest, like don't be afraid to make mistakes. All right, yeah, you asked me if there's like any quotes that really stand out for me or I live by. And one thing that comes to mind is a poem that you actually showed me our first summer at CAG. It's called I'd Pick More Daisies. If I had my life to live over again, I'd try to make more mistakes next time. I would relax, I would limber up, I would be sillier than I have been on this trip. I know very few things I would take seriously. I would take more trips, I would be crazier. I would climb more mountains, swim more rivers, and watch more sunsets. I would do more walking and looking. I would eat more ice cream and less beans. I would have more actual troubles and less imaginary ones. You see, I'm one of those people who live life prophylactically and sensibly, hour after hour, day after day. Oh, I've had my moments, and if I had to do it all again, I'd try to have nothing else, just moments, one after another. Instead of living so many years ahead each day, I've been one of those people who never goes anywhere without a thermometer, a hot water bottle, a gargle, a raincoat, aspirin, and a parachute. If I had to do it all over again, I would go places, do things, and travel lighter than I have. If I had to live my life over again, I would start barefooted earlier in the spring and stay later in the autumn. I would play hooky more. I wouldn't make such good grades except by accident. I would ride on merry-go-rounds. I would pick more daisies.
So, tell me, how did the NREMT test go?
I went over to Eli's folks' house to take it because they have a desk and I don't. I honestly had no idea how I did. It kicks you out differently depending on how each person does, and the questions are all different. So some people can take, I think the max is 120 questions. The minimum is maybe 60. I got kicked out at like 72. And that either means you did really good or really bad, and I had no idea how well I did or not afterward, but I found out that day that I passed, so that was nice, yeah. So I'm officially an EMT, which is exciting.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Beautiful.